Yapping at the Bay, week 11. Patrick Grigsby, Eric Cooley. We had winning weeks, right? The
Did. Did.
beat the Jags, Steelers beat the Saints. So I mean, I'm enjoying this week. I don't know who the Chiefs play. They play the Chargers this upcoming weekend, so you shouldn't be nervous,
Sunday
but I'm pretty
night.
nervous about playing the Bengals. I mean, what do you think about that?
Man, I hope they get that sweep. I hope so. I hope so. This is gonna put that much more distance between Kansas City and everybody else. So,
I was about to say, what was the reason again?
Kansas City's gonna, just create more distance there. But I am rooting for the Steelers this week. Anytime, well, and Jamar Chase is still out, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how much they hold off TJ Watt. So
All
it's
right.
not looking good right now.
Well, we witnessed uh the very first loss for the Philadelphia Eagles this past week. Definitely did not see that coming. Yeah, first loss was against the Washington Commanders, 32 to 21. I mean, the last play was just them lobbing the ball backwards and then they recovered it for a touchdown. So I'm not really going to count that, but
What uh,
uh
what do you think about that pass interference call? Yeah, that one.
the roughing the pass or
Roughing the
unnecessary
passer. Yeah,
roughness.
roughing the passer.
Oh my gosh, dude. So I don't even know that guy's name, number 55, but dude, he saw the quarterback, made a beeline to him, and just could not stop. He was like damn road runner. Like, he just could
Right.
not stop.
Right. The first guy pulled up a little bit and kind of put his hands on him, and that guy just came in and wow, and just laid a
Yeah.
hit on him, man. Like
But
heads up play by Heineke, man. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like I said, he gave himself up, man. He clearly hit a knee. So, like I said, that's I mean, touch him, man. You ain't gotta smack him like that.
he definitely sold that for sure.
Right. Yeah. Heads up play on him for
He
sure.
put his hands up and was like, "Whoa."
I don't think I've ever seen anybody celebrate a penalty like that.
Oh yeah, I wish I had his energy. But uh before the Commanders, who are now 5-5, so they were 4-5 before that game, only the Vikings and Cowboys were the only teams the Eagles beat that had winning records. So yeah, the teams like Detroit, Washington before, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, and Houston. I mean, those were all guaranteed wins for them. Now, they did, the refs did screw the Eagles over in a no face. I don't know if you saw that. Um,
Did I did see that.
but but that led to a touchdown that following drive. They didn't use Sanders as much. Hurts threw it to Brown, who was double covered, got picked off from there, and also led to a touchdown that drive. I mean, did the Commanders beat the Eagles or did the Eagles beat themselves?
Man, it had to be more the Eagles beating themselves. But and dude, they're 9-0. They've played a fairly soft schedule so far, right? A lot of people that had them at the top of the power rankings was largely weighted on them being undefeated. I still think they're a contender. I still think they're one of the best teams in the NFC, if not the best. But I mean, also they were not turning the ball over at almost a historic pace. And not only that, but like their defense was like crazy in interceptions, right? Like as far like you're not, they had the ball break their way too many times, right? Like I mean, like it's just a crazy turnover differential. Eventually, that's gonna regress a little bit, right? So like they were due for a game like this. I don't know if it was like the best thing for them to happen, but like I said, they were due for a loss, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were just I mean just completely astronomically dominating people over the field, right? They've had some good wins. They are a tough team. I still think they'll be right there for the number one seed. I don't think they're gonna have a complete fall off, but yeah, they're due for a loss, man. The Eagles are legit. They are a legit team. They're a legit contender. But yeah, I think they made it finally. I think like that all that super mistake free football finally caught up to them a little bit. So then
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to keep getting turnovers at that rate and not turning the ball over at that rate. Eventually, somebody's going to have a bad game, whether it's the running back, quarterback, whoever. Your defense isn't going to get every three picks a game or whatever, So they were due for a they were due for a loss.
I was expecting that. I definitely believe that they were going to win this one, but lose on the road as their first loss. So this definitely came by surprise. They ended up picking up Sue, seeing as how Jordan Davis is on IR. I mean, is that a good addition? I don't watch Sue as much now. I used to when he was with the Lions and just being a dirty player. But I mean, is he
That
still one
dude's
of the
nasty, dude.
greats, or
I mean,
what's up with him?
he's up there, man. He's definitely one of the best to do it at his generation for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, right, right. I mean, like no question. I don't know about greatest, all time or nothing, but I mean, he's an elite player. He's been an elite player for a long time. Also, that's going to immediately help. Like, I mean, the Commanders ran the ball over him. So that's
Yeah.
going to help. That's going to help plug up the middle some there too. So I think that was a solid immediate move to like keep them on the path that they're on. So I like the pickup. I think it was a good move.
They're going to Indianapolis this upcoming weekend. You think we're going to see a two-game losing streak?
I felt a lot more nervous about this. Yeah, I think Jeff Saturday is doing some good over there, man. No coaching experience, which is like I get it, and I get it. Like it's not fair to like the other coaches that have been putting in the work and grinding as coordinators for years and everything else. And they had two previous head coaches on their staff currently, right? That didn't get the job either. But like dude, if you're gonna pick a guy with no experience, Jeff Saturday is probably at the top of that list, if not at the top. Like I mean, just as far as like everybody talks about him, like his integrity and the way he leads people and everything. I mean, that's exactly what you're looking for in a coach, man. And he knows football. Like he played what, like five Hall of Famers, five first ballot Hall of Famers. Like that's a you see Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison and all them prepare for games, dude. I mean, you know what's going on. So that I'm actually a lot more nervous for that game than I was previously.
And Chef Saturday is finally making the calls, huh?
Yeah, he's killing it, man. He's killing it.
All right. Well, let's get on over to Pittsburgh. I mean, we finally get to see a win by the one and only TJ Watt. He came back for the first time since week one, and they will be playing against Cincinnati Bengals for the second time this year. Jamar's hurt. TJ Watt's back. Steelers beat the Bengals in week one, 23-20 in OT. Um, can you see the Steelers pull off the sweep?
It feels good to talk about them again, huh?
It does. It does.
No, yeah, I'm excited, man. Like I said, their defense just looks different when he's in there. Hopefully Kenny Pickett can, hold on to the football and not throw it to the team. If he can minimize mistakes and be a game manager. And Najee Harris, you know what? I mean, he actually looked a little bit like himself last week. I think you get the running game going and beat up Joe Burrow a little bit. Like I said, I think they can do it. Like I said, it's a very winnable game for them, especially with Jamar Chase being banged up or out still. I heard it. I haven't heard him officially ruled out. So, but yeah, dude, it's it's a bad matchup for them with TJ Watt in there for sure. So, like I said, as long as Kenny Pickett doesn't turn it over, I think they'll be all right. There's definitely I'm looking for the sweep.
Yeah, I don't think he made any turnovers this past week.
I know
Uh,
he's up there in interceptions.
oh, for sure. I remember it was the first four ints were not his fault. Whenever he went in that game, I believe is against the Jets to replace Trubisky and threw three ints. One went off of Fryermuth's hands and then got picked. I think another was Chase Claypool bobbled it, and the Jeffs defender picked that off. And the third one was a Hail Mary. I mean, you can't count the Hail Mary
I
interception.
no, yeah, I mean, it still goes on the board though, right? Like I
Yeah,
don't know how many
unfortunately,
Mahomes
but
had last year that like bounced off Tyreek Hill's hands or bounced off Travis Kelsey's helmet, like, but they
yeah.
still count.
Oh
You
yeah, I remember that.
So right, right, right. So like I mean, like it still count. I think they should amend the rule where if it's a catchable ball, like the wide receiver gets credit with it or something like that. But yeah, so like it still counts, right? So like I mean, they don't turn the ball over. They get to Joe Burrow. Or they run the ball down their throats. That's a game plan, right? So like as long as they stick to that, maybe hit George Pickens on a couple deep balls, like I think they can do it, man. I'm pulling for them for sure.
Praying for that. especially since how Chase Claypool is now out. He deserves the wide receiver one title for sure.
Doing good. He's doing good in Chicago, man. He's doing good. Give Justin Fields a little bit more room to do his thing.
Man, Justin Fields is running it for more than 100 yards now. He
Balling,
doesn't need to pass it.
balling, dude. He is balling. And what sucks is like, what they're the first team in NFL history to score 29 points in 3 consecutive games and lose all of them.
And
Right,
lose
first,
all of
first, first time in NFL history that's happened where they scored 29 points in 3 games and lost them all. So
wow.
eventually they'll turn a corner. They just gave up pretty much their entire defense, right? So uh, they tanking for some defensive players.
Jeez. Well, yeah, I'm praying for their first winning streak this upcoming weekend when they play the Bengals. And they're only 3 games behind
Hey, don't get too ahead of
AFC
yourself.
North. Hey man, a brother can dream, right?
AFC East is going to beat each other up a little bit in the next coming weeks, but man, that's a might have to sleep on that one for a day or two.
Hey, this man right here, has Lamar Jackson's number. All right.
I
Hey,
hope he's got Joe Burrow's number on speed dial.
hey, still got to play the Ravens 2 times this year, and
Oh,
yeah, they're gonna take it.
Ravens are a good team, man. Ravens are a good team.
Yeah. All right. For the next segment, I'm gonna turn it over to Grigsby because if you
Hey,
guys follow Capping at the Bay on Instagram, I posted his week 10 tiers. They look pretty fluent, but yeah, Grigsby, take it away.
let's go. I'm excited, man. This is cool. So yeah, so every week now I'll be ranking and doing some NFL tiers here. So start at the bottom. We got the Bryce Young sweepstakes. Who's gonna get them? And I did remove the Steelers from this list. I had them on there last week, but like I said, hopefully they can pull up a win against the Bengals and at least maintain their eliminated position. But so Texans, Panthers, Lions, or Raiders. The Raiders have what Waller and Renfro on IR right now, so like it's a mess over there. You got the next tier eliminated. These teams are eliminated already, right? So Rams, Saints, Broncos, Packers, Jaguars, Colts, Cardinals, Bears, Browns, and Steelers, right? Those are they better luck next year, you know. And then we got all these teams on the next one. They are buying up lottery tickets left and right because one of them are going to punch their ticket, right? One of these teams here over the next couple weeks. Some of them got a brutal schedule. I know the Bengals schedule is not an easy one. The Chargers got a couple tough games, right? New England's, I think, they got a couple tough games, so we'll see where this pans out. The Falcons actually have an okay schedule, I think. But these teams, they'll be lucky to punch their ticket to the big dance. One of them, and then the next one is one and done, right? So these teams, they made some noise early in the season. They obviously got some holes or some pieces that still aren't there. A lot of stuff to not believe in on these teams, but they do win and they are occasionally dominant too. So you got the Seahawks out in the West who took a big L in Germany. 14-hour plane ride. Maybe Geno Smith should have been doing some high knees or something on the
I
plane.
expected that.
But and you got the Giants, right? Who have like the least receiving yards in all of football right now. Very one dimensional. They're gonna make it. I think they're gonna make it. Brian Daboll's doing good things, especially Daniel Jones. Man, Daniel Jones make a good case to get re-upped. So and what's crazy? So now it was crazy about this tier. The Giants have Brian Daboll, and now all of a sudden Daniel Jones isn't the turning the ball over. But where he came from, and Josh Allen is turning the ball over at a historic pace now for his career. So that's very interesting. And you got the Titans, they run, out King Henry, and that's about it. You got the Jets, who actually are looking like a really good team, man. But Zach Wilson's very week to week. And then you got the Buccaneers. You can never count on Tom Brady. They definitely got some holes. They can't run the ball very well. Um, they're doing good, but they're gonna be one and done. Then you got the winning but flawed. All these teams are, if they fix 1 to 2 things, which some of them cannot because it's a very important position, but they have a major flaw that is holding them back from being legitimate contenders. The Ravens, obviously it's the receiving, right? They will, and that's on both ends. So not only are that, they the run heavy team, they're very one dimensional, and they've shown that. What Lamar Jackson's 1-3 in the playoffs. He finally squeaked one out. But you got to be able to air the ball, especially when you're going against Mahomes and Allen, and some of these other guys. And you can't just run the ball. Especially it's hard to run the ball when you're behind. The Bills, man, the Bills have got some turnover problems. Josh Allen's leading the league in interceptions right now, or tied for first, I think. Not only that, but he's fumbled the ball or turnovers. So that's interceptions and fumbles, right? So they got to clean that up. There's an injury thing with him too. Their defense is pretty banged up. They got some issues, man. They are shown that they are not superhuman. The Vikings, they got Kirk Cousins, right? It's pretty much. It's actually the next two or three teams are actually all, they got quarterback problems, right? So the 49ers, probably the most elite roster in all of football, but Jimmy G's behind center, right? How much can you trust him in the playoffs? You gonna just let him throw the ball 8 times again? And then you got the Cowboys, right? Which the Cowboys, as long as they run the ball, they're gonna win games. But you can't let Dak throw it 40, 50 times a game, man. He's like he does like let him be a game manager. Run the ball, put it in Pollard's hands. And that's the recipe. And like the more they stray away from that, the more they're gonna start losing. And then you got the two certified contenders, right? So Miami and Eagles, both certified A1 scary ass teams. Yeah, like, I would not want to play either one of these teams at any point. Especially you covering the two fastest receivers in football. And then the Eagles are just deep at every position, man. They can do it all. They had a bad game. They're gonna bounce back. They're legit contenders. And then you have the favorite, right? Which I mean, I'm pretty sure is pretty unanimous across the entire nation, all power rankings, everything else. Like they're at the top. So I never would want to play Mahomes or Reed in the playoffs, especially at the Arrowhead Invitational.
All right. So I said that it was
Pick it
fluent.
apart.
I do have some issues. I do have some issues. First off, why on earth do you have Dallas and winning Buffalo? I would rather see them at one and done because that's what they've been doing the past few years is making it to the playoffs and then just finding a way to lose.
Yeah, but they're gonna see. So that's a good call. And I had them in there at one point, but I decided to move them up because guess what? They're gonna be playing the Seahawks. They're gonna be playing the Giants. Or possibly the Falcons or the Commanders. Like they're gonna win one. They're gonna win one.
Because if Eagles win the title, which means they'll be wild card, which means they'll play one of the division leaders. And I mean, NFC is looking pretty. Now, if they play somebody like the Buccaneers, I could see that maybe
Right.
them winning their
Or the
one,
Seahawks.
or possibly a Seahawks if they win it. Uh, shoot, I mean, 49ers will probably win that division, so they could possibly
Got an
play
easy
them
schedule, man. They have
two
a very
years in a
favorable
row and
schedule.
then losing somehow to the 49ers. I mean, I love to see it, but somehow, some way, it just happens. Uh, I don't see Washington being playoff lottery.
Yeah, the playoff lottery also doubles as a single elimination, right? So any of these teams lose this week,
Okay.
boom, they out, right?
Okay.
With possibly an exception of the Chargers. They could lose to the Chiefs, still possibly make a wild card. But everybody else, if they lose their next one, they're done. The Bengals, Patriots, Falcons, Commanders, that's it.
And also, Steelers deserve to be winning Buffalo. Hey, Pickett is the flaw. All right.
The offensive line is the flaw. I don't know. Pickett got put into a bad situation. He got put in the middle of that probably nastiest 4 game stretch he
He
also
did.
whole season, which like I don't think that's fair to him either. So I'm gonna give him a TBD for now, right? But give him some protection, right? Get some run blocking for Najee Harris, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay. All right. That we settled that then because Steelers will always find a way to make it to the playoffs. So if anything, it'll be at least a playoff lottery. They're not eliminated just yet. All right.
Not officially.
Everybody else in the eliminated category, yes, they're definitely eliminated. Definitely the Broncos. We're definitely not riding with Russell Wilson. But yep, other than that,
Solid.
I like it. I
How
like
you feel
it.
about the Bills?
The Bills. I don't see. I don't know what Josh Allen's going through right now, but
Oh,
goodness,
really? Not in the MVP conversation, that's for sure.
for sure now it's Mahomes, Tua, and Jalen Hurts for sure.
Right. And Tua missed what, 2.5 games? Game and a
Yeah.
half?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's go over to our most anticipated matchups in Week 11. Now, Grigsby and I were looking at most of them. I mean, there's a lot of tough division matchups this week. You got Bengals versus Steelers. You got the Chiefs versus Chargers, 49ers and Cardinals. You got the Jets and Patriots, and you also got the Raiders and the Broncos. I see it as the Cowboys and the Vikings. I really see this being the most anticipated one, only because this isn't a primetime game. So Kirk Cousins might be this might be an issue for him, but
It's getting pretty
but
close to his window.
but it's in Minnesota, and Dallas just came with a loss against the Green Bay Packers. So if Kirk cut or wait, it's Kirk Thuggins, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kirk Thuggins. Oh my gosh, that plane ride must have been lit. But yeah, Micah Parsons is definitely showing up, definitely representing the Dallas defense. But Kirk Cousins and offensive player of the year, I'm calling it right now, Justin Jefferson. He is definitely helping Cousins with his stats and definitely helping the Vikings
And the
uh
craziest catch of our
win this
lifetime.
division.
Pretty close.
What
Pretty
was that?
close. I said, and the craziest catch of our lifetime. Pretty close to it.
Definitely of our lifetime, for sure.
Close.
It was Pickens a few weeks ago, but Jefferson definitely took that throne away from him. But yeah, I see it as this week being Cowboys versus Vikings, America's game of the week.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. The other two I got tabbed that like, just really, really high profile games. The Jets and Patriots, man, that's gonna help determine how the entire AFC East follows, right? So that's really gonna be like a big deal for them. Um, I see like what I think if the Jets if the Patriots win this time, they'll tie the Chiefs for most consecutive wins against a divisional foe with like 14. Because right now the Chiefs have owned the Denver Broncos more so than Aaron Rodgers owns the Chicago Bears. Right. So I think it'll be 14 straight games if Belichick can pull off the win this week, but Salah's over there keeping receipts. So we'll see what he has to say about that, right? And the Patriots are 2-2 in the division right now. And but yeah, so we'll see how that plays out. I got that one tabbed as a good one. And the other two is Chiefs Chargers. Chiefs beat the Chargers, they lock up the division. And it's pretty early to do that. So they'll pretty much go into coast mode pretty quickly. They start getting up on people, I think. Obviously they want the playoff bye, uh, but it's huge for the division. And then the last one, and actually, so I had to change it, right? Because the NFL just doesn't want to see good games. So I have, let's see where to go. The 49ers and Cardinals was my other one. Um, so like I said, we'll see if what Hopkins can do against the 49ers or if Jimmy G is gonna fall at all. I think the 49ers can pass the Cardinals. They can for the rest of that's pretty much gonna give them the momentum they need to get the postseason. The one I was most excited for was the Browns and the Bills. Right. 6 feet of snow. Like
Was
right. And then the NFL is like, no, we don't want to see that. We're gonna move it to Detroit. And Buffalo plays Detroit next week, I believe. So they'll spend the next 2 weeks in Detroit. Um, But yeah, man, I was really excited for that one. Get a good snowball in. But yeah, they apparently that was a little too much for them. So I was really hoping, we're gonna see Chubb up to his shoulders running for the end zone.
Just let them play in their
Right,
element.
just let him play. Just let it happen, dude. Just let it
Yeah,
happen.
yeah, because it happened last year with the Patriots and Bills, right? That was a
Yeah,
low scoring game,
yeah,
right?
one of the games last year. Yeah, they had a good snow game last year.
Yeah.
They
So I mean, what is a few feet of snow gonna make a difference? I mean,
Right. Just shovel it before the game. Let it happen. Let it
yeah.
happen.
Or just build a damn dome. Do something. But
They are
if you're
getting a new
gonna
stadium, and I
go
don't know
into
if
a
you've seen their new
yeah,
stadium. Their new stadium looks legit.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
their new stadium looks pretty sweet. Still no
well,
dome.
was that the one that looked like a Top Golf?
Yeah,
What
yeah, yeah,
was that the
yeah.
Titans? That was the Titans.
No,
That
I mean, Buffalo looks like straight out of like a magazine or something, dude. It looks pretty crazy.
was
It looks very, very high tech.
yeah, but I'm liking it. Now it needs to be the Pittsburgh Steelers with a new stadium.
Not Heinz Field anymore, is it?
It will forever be Heinz Field. All right, we ain't gonna call it that Acroshire. Acroshire. Nah, it, I because it's my dad's birthday today, and we just bought him a shirt that said, "I will still call it Heinz Field."
That's hilarious. We just had the same thing happen at Kansas City. Now it's GEHA Stadium at Arrowhead. So I mean, still technically Arrowhead Stadium, but it's GEHA Field at Arrowhead.
Yeah, we could call
But they
it
got new
both.
locker rooms. It was a lot of money poured into it. So I get it. I get it.
Yeah. All right. Cap or no cap is next. Grigsby, I hope you have your hat.
Uh,
I only got one. Grigsby only has one. Uh, I have this almost like a over under bet. If you guys are into the sports betting, I'm gonna do an over under as part of my cap or no cap. Over under 5.5 East teams making this year's playoffs.
I think I'm gonna go over. I think I'm gonna go over, dude. I think three from each will make it for sure. You got the what? You got the Bills and the Dolphins, right? So Bills, Dolphins, and then uh Jets, right? And that's heavily dependent on this weekend. If they beat the Patriots, I think they're gonna make it rest away. But then you got Giants, the Cowboys, and the Eagles, right? And the Giants are just so far out in front. I still don't believe in them, but their record just so far out there. It's going to be hard for Commanders or something. And even if the Commanders make it, that's still an East team. But someone like that of that caliber, they're just too far ahead in the record. So I would think six are going to make it.
Okay. Yeah. Bills, Dolphins, and the winner of the Jets Patriots will be the next team to
I'll buy.
be.
I'll buy. I'll bite on that. I'll bite on that.
And then Cowboys, Eagles, Giants definitely have the advantage because of their record right now. Unless the ball is just he just or Dable, he's not gonna be the worst coach after week 11. If that really happens, he needs to get fired if that's the case, but I don't see that happening. So I see them being the 16 for sure.
All right. Cap or no cap? The Eagles and the Vikings will both miss the NFC Championship.
I gotta go with Cap only because it depends on the record. If one of them is the road team, if they play all the way at home, one of them's definitely going to make it. If they play on the road, though, let's say it's the Vikings versus Buccaneers in Tampa Bay in the divisional round, yeah, Vikings are not going to make it, and especially with somebody like Tom Brady. So, but I see Vikings or the Eagles going all the way at home with their playoff games, and one of them's definitely gonna make it, if not
So
both.
one of them will be the number one seed unless something catastrophic happens, right? So one of them will be the number one seed, which means they'll get the bye, which means they will have a home game. And that would be the only home game before the championship. But
Okay.
like I said, you have the 49ers, you have the Bucks, and you can never count out Tom Brady out of the playoffs as much as everybody wants to, and as bad as they look this year. And
Yep.
then like I said, you got the Cowboys who could, stick to their formula and get hot. Um, there's some good ones out there. Just depends how Geno Smith's playing.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I think I'm still gonna go Cap myself. I'm still gonna go Cap. I think one of them will punch through, but it'd be very interesting to see both of them not make it. And like I said, they both do have. I feel more confident about the Eagles than I do the Vikings, even though the Vikings just beat the Bills because Josh Allen fumbled it in his own goal line after his defense got a fourth out or 4 and out.
Already had the game in the bag, and they just found that way.
You had to move 3 inches. That's it.
Yep.
Nothing crazy, nothing spectacular. Don't hit Gabriel Davis wide open, 60 yards down the field. You had to get 3 inches. Game over.
Yeah. Well, that seals it for this week of Cap or No Cap, or Capping at the Bay. My bad. But make sure you guys like and subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify. Patrick Grigsby, thanks again for being on the show. We will see you guys next week on Capping at the Bay.
See you guys.